Drew Brees again showed his insensitivity to the real issue going on in America as well as the world. He took this humongously specific cause for a protest and boiled it down to a small, vague, ignorant, and downright idiotic argument. I know he apologized, but I don't give a fuck. Jacob Thomas here with Amateur Hour Sports, where we give you raw and unfiltered sporting content Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. But this episode's a bit different. Once again, talking about an injustice I see within the sporting world as well as the entire world. And I feel as though this needs to be said. I feel as though even though I have a small following, I need to utilize my platform to speak out on this matter. It's not the first time I have done so, and it probably won't be the last, unfortunately. Drew Brees apologized for what he said, but he also said the same thing in 2016, and he didn't apologize for that remark, even though he said in 2016 the exact same thing he said this week regarding the American flag and how he will never agree with anybody disrespecting the flag by kneeling during the anthem. He didn't bother apologizing in 2016, and he was almost forced to apologize this week. So it's apparent that Drew Brees has not changed. He's only trying to save face and maybe stop Michael Thomas from forcing a trade. You can't just do or say anything and expect to be forgiven. That's not how it works. In a fight against oppression, white supremacy, and police brutality against blacks, Drew Brees, like many other dirtbags who roam the US, decided to make this problem about themselves. He decided he cannot agree with anybody who disrespects the American flag. Who the fuck was talking about disrespecting the American flag? You're the only person to bring that up. Nobody was protesting about it. Nobody was talking about that. Nobody was disrespecting the American flag. Nobody wanted to disrespect the American flag. There have been centuries of systematic oppression for blacks in America, which stands even today in a system designed to see them fail, with constant subconscious or even conscious racism towards blacks in America. Drew Brees completely ignores that aspect and reason for the protest and boils it down to the mere disrespecting the American flag. You know, anybody out there protesting would love to stand for the American flag. And they do not disrespect it in any way. They want to simply live a life in America equal to yours, Drew Brees. They want to be treated fairly, they want to be treated equally, and they don't want to have to fear for their life at a routine traffic stop. And how sorry of an argument was it for Drew Brees to bring up, oh, it's because my grandfather fought in the World War. It'd be disrespectful to him to kneel for the anthem. Do you really only think white people fought for America in the world wars? Do you really think that no black people died in the wars fighting for America to ensure the freedoms that you currently reap the benefits of? The difference is, when your grandfather came back from the war, he was treated like a human being, a U.S. citizen with opportunity to thrive and to make what he wanted of his life at his choosing. But when a black man returned from war, he didn't come back to the same home like your grandfather did, Drew Brees. He came back to a country that ruled in oppression, white supremacy, and segregation without the opportunity to thrive in the country that he just risked his life for and probably just watched a lot of his brothers die fighting for. The Army veterans did not fight to force everybody to stand for the flag. They fought for the freedom to kneel at the flag if that is your choice to do so. They fought for freedom. This Drew Brees thing boils down to 2 points for me. Number one, willful ignorance, and number two, scared of being uncomfortable, because Drew Brees is afraid of having that conversation about white supremacy in the US. Let's start with number one. It is 2020. If there is something you do not know about, if there is some information you do not possess, if you lack knowledge about a matter at hand or anything really, there are an infinite amount of tools out there to educate yourself, to build your knowledge on the matter at hand, on the scenario that is present. With all these tools, especially for a rich white man, to learn about the atrocities within the country you live in. Drew Brees has chosen the path of ignorance, and yes, he has chosen that path. Drew Brees has proven to be purposefully ignorant of the facts. In a court of law setting, ignorance of the law is not a viable defense. And in Drew Brees' apology, that defense does not hold up either, especially for myself. Let's say I'm in class. I'm a university student. Let's say I'm in a very difficult math class, and the professor is teaching me something I don't know anything about. If the teacher puts a problem on the board and asks somebody in the class to answer it, and I have no idea what the answer is. I have no idea how to answer such a question. I am in the dark as to how to solve such a problem. So, do I put my hand up and blurt out a random answer? Do I put my hand up and give an answer that is very wrong? No! I write it down. I go home. I do my research. I get myself informed regarding such a problem. I develop my knowledge and intelligence on the situation. I study it. I learn it. And then when the question rolls around again on a test, I know how to answer because I have become more informed on the topic. I have now developed an understanding of the matter at hand. I don't stay ignorant because there are all these resources out there for me to learn. These are the resources that Drew Brees has not chosen to use. The tools are there to gain knowledge and intelligence on a situation. Drew Brees has chosen not to pursue these avenues of information because if he wanted to, he could have easily done so. It was his choice to remain ignorant of the matter at hand. Number 2, Drew Brees is a little bitch. He is scared to address the real problem. He is scared to address the white supremacy of the United States of America that he has strongly profited from. So instead, he talks about something he isn't scared of, the flag. He takes the easy way out. In doing so, showcasing how little progress the country has made over the course of centuries. We must normalize these conversations. Drew Brees, in a position of power, can't even stand up for the people who now will no longer consider him their friend. There is a brotherhood between athletes on a sports organization, and Drew Brees has destroyed that brotherhood with some of his teammates. As a quarterback, he has players protecting him all game, and in this situation, Drew Brees has failed to stand up and try to protect his teammates. The New Orleans Saints have a lot of work to do about this situation. They claim to stand against racism like such, but the poster boy of their organization does not do the same, unfortunately. And now he has many of his teammates turning on him. And perhaps the bigger problem is all of the Saints fans and maybe NFL fans or anybody voicing their support for Drew Brees for what he said. And like I said, it's not just the Saints. Every sports organization in the world has scumbag, dirtbag fans like this who will support things like this. It is a plague that goes through the entire sporting world. And it is important that we recognize that. We must recognize it in order to combat it. Again, he apologized, but that doesn't matter. He said the same thing in 2016, and he chose not to apologize because he didn't receive nearly as much of lashback from fans and media for what he said at the time. It is clear that Drew Brees has not changed, and he surely has not changed since his apology. But the rest of the world has. We now have the confidence to call out and backlash against these things being said by people in power, by anybody for that matter. We have the confidence to go after our friends for showing this insensitivity towards the world. Drew Brees is sorry that the whole world has called him out for what he said. He is not sorry for what he said. And again, apologies do not remove the guilt of an action. I can't just shoot somebody and apologize, and all of a sudden, it's all better. The wound will never fully heal from that action. And this wound that Drew Brees laid upon the sporting world will never heal either. This is not my usual content, but when I see an injustice affecting scopes beyond my understanding and beyond the sporting world, I feel as though I need to speak out on it. I need to utilize the platform that I have. Though it's not a huge platform, I need to use the platform that I have to speak out about it, to break the silence. The most important thing right now is not to be silent, to speak out on injustice, call it out in order to make a difference, because though it is a very minuscule difference right now, there are small, very small steps being made in the right direction. There is a very, very long way to go. I will always use my platform to amplify what I believe is right. Anybody who comments in disagreement, just know you are utterly self-centered, self-righteous, scumbag piece of shit. Get off my fucking comment section. You are an absolute waste of life. I don't need to hear it. In the description below, I put some great links and some other links to petitions that you can sign in the fight against oppression and police brutality, among other things in the Black Lives Matter movement. I strongly encourage you to check those out. Please donate if you are able to do so, or sign those petitions. It is completely free. It doesn't take a lot of times, and it truly can make a difference. If you have any other great organizations or links to shout out, please do so in the comment section. I strongly encourage you to do so. You can not only educate myself, but anybody else who stumbles upon this video. Thank you for watching. Keep fighting. At the end of the day, I believe what I say. And if you disagree with me today, go fuck yourself.